Onegaishimasu.
Yes.
Only
Oh, good, good. We'll just loosen up a little bit, find a little bit of balance. And then if you settle, take it a little bit front and back. Yo, yo. And working the sides. And do a rotation. Great, and take a little bit open, close. So. And take a nice deep breath in, reaching up, inching down with the breath out. Last one. And rolling up to the knees, just rolling up through the spine. And lengthen out with the arms, taking the head side to side, left and right. And taking it to the shoulder. And working up and down. And last one, gently circling both ways. Good. And kind of rolling up the shoulders. And the other way. And over across the front. Taking the elbows back with a light fist. Reaching across the sides. And 7 hips. And the other way. Circle the knees. And the other way. A bit of pressure back. Bring the toes up. and spreading the knees down and away. And just work through these two positions, a little bit back, down. Great, and send the feet a little bit wider, just working the sides of the feet. And a little bit inside, outside. And toes and heels. Okay, let's send the feet out. Take it side to side. And bring the toes at one side, sit into it a little bit. Switching over. Bring the legs a little bit wider, sorry, a little bit narrower, sit into it. Get the hips nice and low, just playing this, sitting into it. Let a little bit of movement left and right. Use the hands in the way if you need to, hands in the thighs if you need to. And then just play with it, keeping the hips back, walking the hands forward, out, walking them back, take the hands off the ground, bring the spine up long, sit into the hip. And then again, just work in and out of this, walking forwards, and back, bring the hands off, sitting into the hips, pulling the spine long, walking out, walking back. Right, bring the hands out, let the feet go a little bit wider, taking most of the bend out of the knee. And then again, pull the hips back, just walk the hands forward, lengthen, hold, just playing this area a little bit. Take a couple of deep breaths, loosen out the shoulders. Walking back. Just lengthening back up into the body. And then just blow with one side, reaching up to the foot, coming back. Reach against the foot, coming back. And then just let the back arm also reach up as you reach down. Good. Let's bring the body back up. Bring the feet back together. Shake the noise out a little bit. Go a little bit to the wrist. Roll in and out. Elbows close to the body. And the other way. Squeezing the arms together. A few seconds. And release. And take it to the back of the wrist. 𝘵𝘩𝘢𝘵𝘦𝘢. Pulse it on a little bit. And then hold it. And switching over. Hold it. And then hold. And onto the back of the hand. A little bit of 𝘭𝘪𝘨. And change. Send the thumb over the back, so you're trying to take the little finger towards the nose. And switch. Thumb over the top. Good. Taking the fingers and rotate through it with a bit of 𝘱𝘭𝘢𝘅.
Yep.
And switch. And taking the fingers over, locking at the elbow, drawing the fingers towards the center of the body. And switch. Last tricky one. Cross the elbows over, take the hand. First we just lengthen out, hold it, start to curl over with it. So think about drawing the ear to the hand and think about also the elbow coming up a little bit. So add a little bit of pressure up with the arm. Try and get the elbow point up to the ceiling and just come in and out of this one. So flex the whole body into it and then come out of it. So. Good. And then switch sides, untangle the elbows, take it to the other side, take the hand wherever you can, if you can. Yeah, good. And then lengthen it, the arm out. And then you take the same side here to the hand. And again, try and think about the elbow starting to go up. Body goes into a nice spiral rotation. Good. Taking the fingers across the back, in this case, straighten the arms out as much as you can. First with the neutral spine, just think about raising up as high as you can. Press out the arms. And then link the thumbs together. Press out a little bit, and then in this go on, hinge the hips down. And reach the hands up as far as you can, up and over. You're trying to reach the ground. Coming back up, we'll do one more. Take the bicep, or take as far around as you can with the arm. If you can take the, if you can just take the wrist, that's fine. If you can go a little bit deeper up the arm, you can get onto the biceps pretty good. And then again, think about a neutral spine with this one, and then just gently trying to peel the arms away from the body. Peel them away. Peel them away. Peel them away. Release them. Okay, we'll do one more. Thumbs down, cross the hands over. This one, there's two stages. You reach up, keep the shoulders low. So it's quite easy to do with the shoulders coming up. Think about the shoulders staying low, bringing the arms to the side of the ears. And then you're going to come out of it, and then you're going to roll the hands inside. And think about lengthening through the arms. Just take it as far as you can with it. Good. And then release it. Switch the hands. Same thing, think shrugging the shoulders down, reaching them up. Up, high as you can. And then coming down, rolling inside. And take them out, shake the hands out a little bit. Shake up the arms. And the legs. Shake out the whole body, plant the feet. And make it a little bit smaller each time. Very good. Great. We'll do a little bit more. Okay. Okay, good. Great. We'll just go straight into the first of all. So just find your own rhythm with it. Pulls at the back and pulls in the cut. Just give yourself a little bit of time in each of these positions. Nice and clear. Okay. So just play with this a little bit. This isn't cutting at the head, but just think about stopping the sword at this point. Okay, so you're just going to kind of feel the connection in the body as you do this, and then just release it back to the top, and then just cut down into this position. So try and feel the body's really active in this position. It's the point in the cut where everything's just starting to kind of settle into place. So Feel that everything as you go into it's just stopping around in this kind of level. Arms are starting to draw into the body and close, and the swords extend. The main thing to be aware in this case is that the body doesn't get kind of pulled out in this kind of position and then tries to get back in. Think about the body's open and then it's really going into a closed position. Closed position. Closed position. So just play within that top range of the arc, which is from the back all the way around about where the sword comes up level with your forehead. Yeah. And this isn't wrong to do because sometimes we do it, but try and avoid, in this case, a cut with it. So don't think about a cut finish with it. Think about just stalling the cut in that position. So you're just stalling the cut in that position. And just feel what happens in the body as you do it. So feel what is happening in the body when you just kind of stall the sword in that case, in that position. Nice. Okay. And then finish the cut. It's done like this. This is really artificial, but think about like slow, then fast. So it's like slow, and then you finish it. Okay, so all the time between this movement and this point, think about like a deep, slow kind of connection into it. And then think about as you go into the cut, apply the hip into it. So when you're solid and grounded in that position, then think about adding a little bit of a snap to the movement. Try and avoid the opposite, which is like fast then slow, which is something like, and then trying to stall the movement. So try and think about going like slowly into it, and then there's a kind of snap at the end of the movement. So slowly into it, and then there's a snap at the end of it. And then the snap is also the focus of the cut. So it's a kind of slow build up. Just play with the kind of rhythm of it. What we tend to do is go like fast at the beginning, break the connection, and then try and refine it. But if you think about it, in this case, just really artificially, but going slow and then feel the body in place and then add into the cut a little bit. Add into it's the wrong way to put it. Okay. We'll do it because it's the same feeling, but it's just a simpler movement. Think about a strike. Think about what most people do is like try and speed up at the beginning of it. But think about this being actually very slow. This, and then the body's in place, and then think about a kind of injection of the body into the strike. So again, it's artificial, but think about we like slow into it this case with a very kind of straight line punch, and just play with there's a kind of point where the body's in place, and then I can kind of kick the connection into the fist. So it's something like that. Just play with that because it's an easier movement to find it with. And again, what a lot of us do in this case is like trying to like speed at the beginning of it. It goes very fast, and then the body gets kind of lost in that movement. So think about something slow, like it's like you're squeezing a toothpaste. There's a little bit of toothpaste in the tube, and I'm going to squeeze. I need to squeeze a lot, and then it goes whoop and pops out the end. There's like a kind of this kind of feeling. This kind of feeling, but it's just a kind of way to play the feeling of it, and it's kind of tempo of it as well. And the point is really feel where the body's actually really in place behind the strike, and then there's a kind of kick out to the movement. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay. And then go back to the strike with it, go back to the arc with it. It's a much more complex movement in this case, but think about, again, there's a kind of squeezing of the structure into the ground, and there's also a release out. So you want really like down and out in this case, but think about the main component in this part of the movement is kind of to establish the down direction. And then if that's very strong and in place, then the out can kind of come into it. The main thing I don't want is go out too fast. Yeah, and then starts to bridge the body out. Same with the punch. I don't want to go out too fast, and then the body's kind of trailing behind. So think about the down direction as you do this, and then think about going into the strike. So go back to like a more of a normal pace, but just feel that connection where like thick, heavy down, boom, and then there's a kind of knockout of it. And then now the feedback is what happens in the body. Which I've applied a bit more of a strike to the end of it. Okay. Yeah, good. 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 Now go to the whole thing as one piece, but finish it one. There's another point you can finish in, which is just nice to play with, and especially for this form when you do it in one step, which means that you're going to touch the back and go straight into this movement. I'm going to finish the movement a little bit like just before the application of the focus of the cut. So it looks something like this. You go to the back, you engage in, and you just feel again the body kind of really go into the ground. Really important this, because if I don't have this position and I go into the cut, the body just gets pulled out, or it kind of freezes at the hip point. So at the point where I find the hip. So just in this case, do this very slow, but think about one movement. You reach into the back, you engage into the ground. And again, I'm not trying to cut at this point. I'm just going to kind of find the hip. The feeling of the cut is in the hip. So the feeling in the hip is to really cut into the ground. But the main point in this case is to make the movement kind of one flexible thing. Still touching open at the back, but not pausing at that point. Just flow through it. Nice. Good. And then just add in the focus, so it's the last kind of 3% of the movement, 3-4%, boom, just drop into it. But again, think about one thing now. So you go right to the back, straight into it, and down into the cut. Down into the cut. And it doesn't have to be fast, but just think about it being one flexible movement pattern. Good. Good. We'll do the same thing. I'll just show you the progression for it. Just play with it, but it's just switching the legs now. So same idea, but just bringing yourself to the back. And the idea is to work into the cut. But play with these kind of 3 levels again. One is to just find that position. just in the middle of it. Now, in this case, the foot's not quite grounded, and I'm just starting to engage into the body this way. The second one is to start to make it a little bit more fluid and start to draw down into it. Draw down a little bit further, and then the third one is that right at the end of it, adding that focus into it. So just play with it, switching at the back. You can also pause in this position and then just engage a little bit deeper, but again, play that kind of thick connection into the cup. Into the cup, and then just play on those levels in this case. And stopping sometimes here, stopping sometimes a little bit lower, and then finding full focus with it. In this case, switching the legs, finding the back. Yes. Okay. Okay. Just change the emphasis now. It's going to be on the raise of the sword. So think about in this case, what you want to avoid in this case is the hands kind of starting it. So there's a kind of a fast kick up of the hands, and then the body's kind of caught to catch up with it. So because your hands are very fast, if they begin the movement, the body gets kind of pulled out of the order of the movement. So think about in this case, again, very artificial, but think about the arms being heavy, and we're going to kind of drive the sword up with the body as it comes in. So think about this part of the body driving and kicking the sword up. Now, it's not quite the right language for it, but it's the sense that you kind of kick the sword up with the hip. Play with that feeling, but it's a more subtle feeling. But the first thing is just get the sense that this hip, as it kicks in, brings the sword up, and then the down portion, so you can kind of explore those three areas. But just focus now on this kind of sensation in the body. So it's as if the body, the leg, the hip kick the sword up at this point. But the main thing to avoid is something where the hands start to pull up too early in the movement. So I want to engage, in this case, from the hip. And first, it's a kind of not a very subtle feel in the body, but it's the sense that the hip's going to kind of kick up the sword. Something like this happening. Something like this happening. It's not quite that way, but it's just to get the sense that the legs are more primary than the hands in this case. So. So that's it. Okay, good. Now, the subtle part is the feeling isn't to kick up with the hip, it's actually to fall into this leg. So play now with a step with it. Keep that same sensation, but the feeling is that the center passes over the foot and then all the weight falls down into that leg. So it's like this is happening. Okay, so there's a release of the weight towards the leg, and in that release, as the hip and the body pass in, the sword raises in that moment. So just play now with a step through. You can do this on both sides. But again, just feel that as you go in, you fall, the structure falls towards the leg, and as that happens, you want to start to engage the arms into the movement. And again, if the arms start this, I start to fall towards the leg, the body gets pulled out of structure, and the body really doesn't like it. So think about engaging through it slowly. This and then this. And it feels like a kind of scissors. You drop into the foot, the hands raise. Boom. It's like a kind of boom, like a pulley system. So it becomes less a kind of kick up and out and away. It becomes a falling down and a lifting up, or raising up is rather better words. But yeah, there we go. Nice. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, good. That's it. Good. Oh. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, play with now falling into it. So you go into the cut, same feeling, like slowly into it, and then there's a kind of boom. There's a movement where the weight kind of drops into the ground. So think about a slow, and then into the cut, slow, and then into the cut. And it's not so much about speed; it's about weight. It's like when the weight passes over, and the thing just kind of drops. So it's like it's slow, and then it just drops. Boom. So the weight's just basically hitting the ground. Now, if I allow the weight to hit, you'll get a kind of natural speed in the movement. But I'm not so interested in going fast, just in that feeling of connection. So it's like a deep feeling of plugging into the ground, and then you let it pass into the cut. Pass into the cut. But the best way to feel is to actually do this very slowly in, and then let the weight just drop into the cut as you pass through it. Give it a try. Good. All right. That's great. And then take this to the 𝘧𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗧, and then again, just play with this idea. So this is really now one motion, so don't separate the movement out. But again, think about a slow roll into it and then let the weight go. Okay, so there's like a slow drive in. Yeah, and again, the same kind of feeling like the hip as you fall down into the ground, the hip mobilizing the sword this way into it. So the hip mobilizes, and then the weight hands into the cut with the focus. So you're trying to link the weight of the step, of the body landing in the step, with the focus out of the hand. Very good, very good. Good. Ella, see you later. Okay, we'll finish with one form. We'll start with it in a basic pattern. So the first step in this case is to roll the body back, roll the sword up. Okay, nice simple one. You go into a 𝘥𝘢𝘦𝘦 in this case, and then you're going to rotate to the back, open the grip. You come into that block position, and then you take a second step through into another 𝘥𝘢𝘦. Okay, so the whole set is to go back and up into a step on the right 𝘥𝘢𝘦, rotate to the rear. You're into a block position. And then from here, stepping through on the right side to a second 𝘥𝘢𝘦. So both cuts are on the right leg. The block rotates to the back, and you're in this position at the back. Okay, so the second position, or the second block position, think about the simplest way you can make it. So in this case, as I release the left hand, it pretty much stays where it is, and then I just let the right hand receive. It just receives the bokken in that way. So as I release, just do that motion. So it's just a change. The tip of the weapon goes to my left side, and the left hand just receives it. Now, as I go into the rotation, that just happens together. So the left hand is just going to release and receive. I don't need to do anything special with it. And in this case, I don't want to go underneath the weapon this way. I want to receive it in this position. So I want to receive it in this position. In this case, it's really like a block. So I want the hand in a position where it's going to be able to receive weight into it, rather than that position, which is going to kind of slip off the grip. So think about the simplest way you can make it, which is just that. If you've really got the feeling for it, think about the cut, and think about the cut going straight into the block. So you cut and you go straight into it. So still separating the hands, but think about one motion. The cut just basically continues, and then you're straight away in that position. It goes like this. That's it. There we go. Nice. That's it. Got it. Okay, good. Yeah, Chris. Good. Good. Got it. Right. So then think about flowing off the block movement now. So the form stays the same. You go up to the top, you cut in, you flow to the back, and then straight away think about opening back into the grip, into the cut. Sorry. So you go from this position, and again, this hand's just in a position where it can open and receive the end of the bokken. So it's going from this to this to this, this to this to this. So I'm just going to feel that the hand can be free to explore, find it. Later, kind of take this bit out of it, but it's a nice thing to play with. Really opening the grip out and then really refinding it. Okay, yeah, good. So. Oh. Good. That's good. Okay, so the block position kind of gets absorbed into movement now. So what you do is you keep the grip loose in the left hand, but you don't release it fully to the end of the weapon. So what the form is like now is like coming back, pause at this point, and then think about this whole thing now as one. So you roll through. The block is still in place, but you feed straight into the cut. So in this case, you're not opening back up the grip. You're just flowing around it straight in. So the angle of the block is still there. This, but you flowing straight into the cut now. So you go from this cut, you switch around straight into the second, switch around straight into the second, It just means that the left hand's going to be quite flexible during it. And that basic pattern just teaches the broad pattern of it. In this case, putting it into movement. Well, as. Here. Yeah, and the reason we start with that first one is this, because if I go straight into the idea that the hands are gripping, look what what the tendency to happen is this: the body gets kind of screwed up with the movement, gets screwed up, and then I'm not in a good position to actually create the cut, and then I end up doing something like this, something like this, because the arm's kind of screwed up. That the body does this. So when you do this, if you feel that's happening, you can do two things. You can go back into this shape and really open the body up, and then I'm in a better position to find the cut. The other one you can do is just release, just play with really releasing this. So I don't want to feel that this happens in the shoulders. I want to feel that this happens in the shoulders. So as I go into the rotation, I want to feel that the shoulders are still rolling inside the body rather than the arms kind of tangle up. So let's play with it, but there needs to be quite a soft quality in that left grip. And the feedback is what's happening in the shoulders as you would create that rotation. Yeah, there we go, there we go, there we go. Very good. Okay. Lastly, just play with this one a little bit. The last form in this case is to basically cut through it and then go into it. But it's again, it's kind of full of problems, especially if I'm bracing the structure to it. So just play in this case with this. You've got the sword in this position. Just play with this. You're going to just slightly start to wind it. So I'm going to go from here. I'm going to play a little bit of power to it, not too much, and then I'm just going to kind of roll through it. So in this case, just using the sword a little bit more flexibly. And again, I have to give the sword that quality. What I can't do is kind of brace the structure and then go with it. So I need to just kind of roll the sword through it, through that angle. You're playing with this kind of motion, the body. Now what I want to do every so often is just roll through it and into the back. And it's quite a supple, it's a very supple exercise. This was quite hard to find this feeling in the form because especially if I'm bracing the structure to do it, it's quite difficult. Unless we just play the kind of winding, 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 winding and release. And it's important in this one to wind up the right way. So in this case, if you wind the wrong way, you split the body up. You split the body up. You can do that, but in this case, think about the tip of the sword and the belly button. Really kind of work together. So even if I'm going the other way, then the body needs to go that way with it. So if I wind that way, it needs to go that way. If I wind, in this case, this way towards my left side, the sword needs to also kind of follow that path. So when I'm winding, think about the two hands, the center of the grip and the belly button. They kind of work together. They work together, they work together, and then you release it out. There we go, there we go, there we go. Yeah, there we go, nice. That's it, that's it, that's it. Very nice, there we go. Super. Okay, we'll stop right there. Very good. Very good. Great. Domo arigato gozaimasu.
Domo arigato gozaimasu.
Okay. Thank you very much. Very nice.
Thank you.